Well, Bob Grady wanted to go last, so I asked him to go first, just to be contrary. Bob?
Okay. That's the way things work sometimes. This is a fun kind of thing that I made a couple of these for my sons. We all enjoy working on old cars and so on. So I made the finial here out of a spark plug. The top and the bottom are Sapella, which were cut-offs from a house that my son built for Howard Stern last year. These staves are oak, out of the oak flooring in his living room. So there's a lot of Brady history there. The reason I wanted to go last is that I could introduce some of the work that I'm going to be doing at the demo today. But Don insisted that he wanted to hear me first. What I'm going to do is what the British call transaxial branchwood turning, and it's the British are very great on terminology, and we are joined by a common heritage and disjointed only by a common language. And it's very difficult sometimes to understand them.
They speak the same language?
But it ain't fun.
They speak the same language we do?
You take a branch, cut it in half, and then make a turning out of it. And that's what these are. And they're kind of interesting, a little difficult to get started at the edges out here. We'll try to deal with that today. There's another piece out of beech, and here's another beech piece. But today we're going to work on a maple piece, and we'll see how that goes.
And it doesn't cost too much, right?
Yes?
It doesn't cost too much, right?
No. Yeah.
Ken, you might as well confess.
You know, we have a former president. Where is he? His expression is "shit happens." Where's right there. And this morning, on my dining room table, I had this in a bag. I walked away from the table and it fell on the floor, and it chipped here, here, and here. After all this work, so that happens. Not happy.
Just weren't planned, you know.
No.
Well, remount it and turn the edges off and you got a new design.
Everybody is a critic. That's what. But I didn't want to not bring something in. So a couple of days ago, I decided I was going to try just a different kind of carving, and that's what happened. But I didn't expect it to.
Do you want to show us this?
Benny, Tomo, thank you, but that's...
There you go.
Is that in the post office too?
I don't know.
He looks like Wyatt Earp with glasses.
Today you don't have your hat on.
No, I did, but it's hot in here, so I took the hat off. Anyway, don't let stuff like that stop you, even though there's a good couple of hours work in that. If you break something, and I see somebody else has a piece there that obviously broke, and who else was it that has the teapot that started a crack. Things happen with wood. You just have to go with it. And there will be a redesign of this piece.
Nobody will guess who made this movie. But go ahead. Where are you?
See, the mistake is that you think it's a bowl. It's actually a stand.
Wait a minute, Marty.
I hope you have a macro on that, Steve.
There we go. Got it.
Will it fit on the camera?
Where'd you get such a big piece?
Found it in the back of my closet. I didn't even know I had it. It's a piece of elm, and it just fit onto the jet mini lathe. It's finished with plain tung oil.
picture here? Whose is that?
So a friend of mine gave me a burl and a piece I brought in at the last meeting. This was another piece. Actually, the first one I made, the water pitcher, is already gone. I sold it. So obviously, some people have an affinity to water pitchers. So these are sticks that my father had years ago. He would always find a piece of wood interesting. He would carve the bark off it. And he'd put them in a pail. And he's got them hanging in his garage. And when he passed away, I said, well, he saw something in these, so I said, I can't throw them out. So now, gradually, I'm using those pieces up on different pieces. So that's where that came about. Out of that burl, it was a big burl. I actually got 5 pieces out of the burl, like this. And this is the a project. I saw it cracking before I even took the wax off.
Kenny, Len, can you see that? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Before I even took the wax off, I saw the piece cracking. So I said,
You're
well,
not the only one.
I have to, you know, let me get going on it. I mean, it's completely different than what I had decided to do with it, but I knew it. If it was moving that much, I couldn't do what I originally wanted to do with it. So I tried to turn the piece, and again, I say I let the wood dictate to me what reasonably what the shape is going to be. So I'm trying to get the crack out, so you keep turning until you get most of it. I couldn't get it all out. It's still in there, but if you realize how heavy this piece of wood is and pick up this piece now, a lot of the weight is out. So I said, I'm going to show it to the club, so I kind of technically have to turn the piece pretty decently. So I took the time to really hollow the inside out and try to make the hole small enough that you can't get your finger in. Maybe some of the ladies can, but the guys can't get their finger in. But it's pretty thin.
Did anyone try microwaving that arbor vitae? Or lignum vitae, rather?
I guess not.
I tried it, and I got a lot of mini checks on the surface, but I didn't get major checks in it. And I have it's a cast off from our kitchen. It was our first microwave, so it's only 500 watts. And I would give it 3 minutes, let it cool, another 3 minutes, and I did this over several days. So maybe I was just lucky, but it's something to think about when you have a wood that's that wet.
You're talking about the full microwave.
Yeah.
Did the microwave melt the wax?
Yeah. And I didn't realize how waxy the wood itself is, so I had this huge, I could have set up a candle factory with the wax that the guys had put on it to seal it, plus what came out of the wood.
Plus the wood is very oily, so you might be getting some of the oil out of the wood too.
Exactly.
Very, very oily. The story goes that years ago, the lignum vitae was used in submarines for bearings because it ran so quiet.
They still use them.
Huh?
It's still in the
Still
atomic
do.
subs, yep,
Huh?
nuclear subs.
I have an old plane
Propeller shaft.
about this big that was made in France. My father-in-law had it because he learned his trade in Italy. And it's made out of lignum vitae. And it's slick on the bottom, and it's heavy as all hell.
Who's teapot?
That's fine.
Remember to move down there, please.
This was the Cliff Lansbury workshop, my teapot, which now has a crack, so now it's a crack pot. So that was that one. And Ed Kelly came over one day, and we were looking around for some wood in the shop that we could turn, and we came across this one. This was from the gentleman that sold the Australian burls. And so Ed Kelly and I did this one.
Can you see that? Okay.
What is it?
Australian burl?
Yeah, it's one of the burls I got from Australia. I don't know what kind it is, to be perfectly frank. And then my son and I,
Did you turn that green?
there is no such thing as green with that. The stuff
No?
weighs a ton.
Oh.
You think it's bone dry, and then you start hollowing it, and you feel the moisture. So it's, I would not call it green. This stuff
Okay.
is, you think it's from a desert.
But you didn't let it dry. It just came, just the way you got it, start to
It's been sitting in
finish.
the shop 3 years.
Was it waxed?
No. No, it was not. Then my son and I were working in the garden one day, and everybody turns, talks about turning crotch on the tree. That's the real crotch. And that's about all I have.
It's just a